Hi, my name is Anne and I'm at Burpee Museum here with Ice, talking about reptiles and amphibians in our new special exhibit that will be open this year until December. Ice is one of our black and white Argentine Tegus, and we're going to be talking about his sense of smell today. So this is a really awesome reptile. This is a black and white Argentine Tegus. By their name, you can assume where they come from. They are from Argentina, although Ice, believe it or not, is not from Argentina. Oh, hi, big boy. You want to come cuddle? Okay. So Ice is actually from Florida. What happened is a lot of animals have been released into the wild, whether it's because a breeder didn't want them anymore, a owner didn't want it anymore. It's hard to say how it actually happened. The animal escaped. But once they develop breeding colonies in the wild, they become what we call an invasive species. Invasive species are animals that are living and often thriving where they're not supposed to be. A great example that a lot of people know about is the Burmese python in Florida. These large snakes are in the wild and they're not from Florida originally, and they're doing really well, living in Florida, growing really big and eating a lot of the Florida wildlife. Well, the Argentine Tegus now is also doing the same thing. This kiddo is really smart. In fact, they have the highest brain to body mass ratio of any other reptile. These guys are smart, they have an amazing sense of smell, they are really hardy creatures, and the environment in Florida is really almost perfect for them. So unfortunately, there's a good number of these guys in the wild, and the Florida Department of Natural Resources has asked that these be euthanized on site if you do capture them. So this guy actually came from Florida. He was wild in Florida, and then he ended up coming to be a part of our exhibit and our animal outreach programming because he's just such an exceptional animal, and he's so great with kiddos. Now, you're probably noticing this gigantic tongue that's sticking out. His mouth, I'm gonna see if I can get him to stick it out. Can you stick it out for us? There you go. He has what we call directional smelling, so he can smell to the left and to the right, just kind of like we can hear things are coming from the left and the right. The forked nature of his tongue allows him to get a sense of both those areas. Additionally, his tongue doesn't have taste buds on it like ours do. So he's bringing these air molecules into his mouth and using an organ on the roof of his mouth called the Jacobson organ, which is directly connected to the olfactory bulb in his brain. And this allows him to process the chemicals in the air and figure out what he's smelling, essentially. So when he's doing this with his tongue, especially he'll do it quite a bit with some new visitors, it's because he's trying to smell them. It's just like a dog sniffing somebody. So he's getting some information about that person by bringing his tongue in and out of his mouth. Now, these guys are omnivores, which means they pretty much eat anything we provide for them. They can eat plant matter. So this guy's favorite treat is a big bite of my banana. You do like bananas. They like blueberries and strawberries and all sorts of fruit that they'll eat with some frequency. They love to eat some rats. I'm gonna put you down for a second, Ice. They like rats. They like bugs. They'll eat roaches. They're pretty versatile eaters, and one of the favorite things for them to eat is eggs. And so in Florida, one of the problems that we have is these guys are digging up the American crocodile nest. The American crocodile is having some trouble in its own right, and then these guys are going in and they can wipe out an entire generation in one meal by stomping around on a few eggs, eating a few, and making themselves feel pretty good. And those great sense of smell allows them to sniff out these nests when they're underground, and then they are great diggers. In fact, when we have them in the cages here, they're able to dig out a little hole for themselves. Hi, this is Fire. We have two males here. You can tell they're males. They have these gorgeous jowls on their face here. Only the boys get that. These guys are probably, lengthwise, probably about full grown, but they're certainly not done putting on weight. They might put on a little more weight. Hi, yes, hello. Hello, yes, how are you? And both of these guys are just incredible animals and incredible specimens for people to see, as well as a really great example of what happens when you let your pet go in the wild, and they can be incredibly destructive. So these guys, luckily, were not euthanized, and we're happy to have them here at Burpee Museum as an example of the Argentine Tegus.